Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. Today I'm going to be going over some past games versus Japan in order to kind of get an idea of what they might bring against us in the She Believes Cup. Again, as always, links to where to watch, how to watch, the schedule, where to buy tickets, etc. That'll be in the description below along with the timestamp, so if you want to jump around you can do that as well. I just wanted to point out that I don't really know much about the Japanese women's national team because I don't watch their league. I'm not very familiar with a lot of the players. So this is just going to be based off of someone who's gone back and watched a handful of games. So this is not going to be like substantial, I guess. Alright, let's get started. So Japan released their She Believes Cup roster. There are a few changes between this roster and the roster that played in the 2019 She Believes Cup. The thing I wanted to point out with the goalkeepers is Yamane actually isn't on this roster, and I don't know why she isn't because, again, I'm not very familiar with the Japan women's national team or their league or anything, so if you know why, let me know down below. I'm not gonna read everybody's names off or anything because A, I can't pronounce them, and B, I honestly don't even know who half these people are. So the United States came out in their typical 4-3-3 formation. Goalkeeper as Alyssa Naeher, our backline Kelley O'Hara, Abby Dahlkemper, Tierna Davidson, Crystal Dunn, our midfielders of Julie Ertz, Mallory Pugh, Rose Lavelle, and up top we have Tobin, Heath, Alex Morgan, and Megan Rapinoe. The thing I wanted to point out were the center back pairing and the relationship with Tierna Davidson and Crystal Dunn. I think that's something that's not very solid and can be seen throughout this game. In the midfield, I wouldn't put Mallory to start, but that's something Jill was testing out. So Japan came out in their 4-4-2 formation. I wanted to point out the goalkeeper, Yamane, she's 6'2", so she's very tall. So crosses, corner kicks, stuff like that is not going to work against her. Nakajima, she's definitely a player to watch. She's super good. And Kumagai, their center back, she plays for Lyon. So Tobin gets the ball wide and she drives forward. She cuts inline and then ends up playing it back to Mallory Pugh, who takes a bad touch and can only get a toe poke on it. They try a short corner and Lavelle goes for the cross. And this almost could have been really good, but Japan was able to get it out before anything could come up out of that. Alex gets the ball and plays a fantastic through ball to Pino, which I think she should have done more with this. That was fantastic defending by Japan. Great recovery run. Here is an example of the relationship with Tierna and Crystal. Tierna didn't have to step there, and Julie kind of got caught in no man's land, not sure if she should step or cover, and so they ended up getting a shot, and thankfully it went off the crossbar, so nothing came of that, but it could have been 1-0. Mallory plays it wide to Tobin, who drives forward again. She takes her defender 1v1. Girl literally face plants and scorpions. Plays across, and Megan Rapinoe finishes. Tobin needs to be on the ball. She does great things when she has time and space. And here she picked out a fantastic cross to Pino, who just tapped it in. Here was another opportunity Megan Rapinoe should have done much better with. I remember watching this live and I was so angry because she had so much time to literally pick her head up and pass it to Tobin, who had nobody on her. All Tobin would have had to do is pass in the corner, but she chose to go for the shot, and it just, as you can see, was terrible. Pino got a free kick here, and this was actually a good free kick, in my opinion. It was low, and the keeper had to dive for it. Obviously, if it would have been in the air, she could have just grabbed it because she's 6'2". Again, Tobin gets wide and plays a nice cross to Alex. It just pops up at the end, and so she can't really do much with it. But as you can see, Tobin on the ball is a good thing. Here, Alex almost got a header, which was surprising because, again, the keeper didn't come out because the ball was so far away. Here was when we got scored on. Tierna miscleared it, and Japan capitalized on the opportunity they were given. Again, there's really not much I can say about this because it was just a mistake on our end. Tierna should have completely just booted that out, but it went right to the defender, and so, stuff like that happens. Here, we almost got scored on. That was so cool. Kristen Press, the queen, finally comes on. So annoying. And this was like one of her first touches of the game. She drives inline, plays a nice cross to Alex Morgan, who chests it into the goal. Great work by Kristen. She always needs to be on the field. Here, Alex gets the ball, goes forward. Her shot is just a little over, but we're starting to gain momentum towards the end of the game. Until this happened. Again, Tierna got caught way out of position, which meant that Crystal had to slide over, which meant that her man was completely unmarked, and so This was just a complete defensive breakdown by Japan, and they're really good at doing that, so we need to watch out for that when we play them this year.
I don't think we necessarily played bad this game. I think we gave Japan, I'd say, 3 solid opportunities to score, and they scored 2 of them. And so I think it's one of those things where if, Tierna wouldn't have made that missed clearance, they wouldn't have had that goal. And obviously that's something that you can't predict and you can't prepare for. Stuff like that happens, and you can't blame a single person on a goal because the entire build-up could have been prevented. At the end of the day, forwards can pass the ball to the wrong team all the time. Midfielders can lose it. And no one cares. No one bats an eye. But the second a defender plays a bad pass, they'll get scored on. And so I think in that sense it becomes more, recognized because it's on the spotlight and because the effects directly end up as a goal. And so obviously I don't think this is all Tierna's fault. I think it was just a misclearance, and things happen, and it was unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it's how we respond to it and how we go forward that matters. The second goal was a complete defensive breakdown. Tierna got caught going forward. Her and Abby Dahlkemper didn't have the communication to recognize that Dahlkemper could have stepped and Tierna could have covered. And in that situation, it's up to both of them to communicate that and sort that out. It's also up to Alyssa Naeher to make sure that they're on the same page too, because she can see the entire field, so she can point that out, but maybe she did and it was just too late. We don't know. Everybody in the back line got caught out of position, and Japan did a fantastic job at breaking us down, and so I think that's one of those things where at the end of the day, we watch that film back and we recognize how we can prevent that going forward, and we just do our best to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Tobin needs to be on the ball at all times. She's such an important player, and you can see that in the many examples I'll show. She just drives forward and gets into these spaces where she's able to create productive change on the field and set other players up for success. You saw it with the Megan Rapinoe goal. She had one in the first half to Mallory Pugh that she should have done better with. We run into an issue when at halftime Japan regroups and realizes that Tobin is completely obliterating their back line. And so they readjust their formation to allow more players to get back. So for example, they'll drop one of their midfielders to help recover and help defend Tobin. So it becomes a 2v1 for Tobin, so she can't necessarily drive 1v1 at the defender because obviously it's harder. Now, Tobin has taken people 2v1 before, but it's just not something you do every single time because you don't have the space to do so. And so it forces her to go back, which then cuts off her creativity. So in that situation, it's important to realize that pressure and to find other ways to solve it. And so I think that's a situation where Tobin can move into the midfield, because I think she's one of those players where regardless of where she plays on the field, if she's on the ball, she's making things happen. And so maybe that's an opportunity to put her in the midfield and maybe put somebody else in that outside position to throw Japan off. Who knows? If we decide to keep her in her position, that's fine. She can still find opportunities. It'll just be harder for her. But that's going to open up other channels for other players to use their creativity and to go forward. But if we don't see that, then it's kind of pointless. Kristen Press needs to be on the field. I don't know how many times I have to say that. It's obvious at this point. If you've been watching my videos, then you'll see the many, many examples where she comes on the field and she makes positive change. She was driving at the back line. She literally head-butted a girl in the face and decided to keep playing. I would have been on the ground probably in a fetal position, and she ends up playing a nice assist. It's just so unfortunate because she brings so much to the field, and why would you limit a player of that caliber to 20 minutes? Why not give her 90 minutes and see if she can do that in 20 minutes? What can she do in a full game? And so, but I'm just really excited for her. I think something that's important to consider is that Japan, in a good portion of the games they ended up losing or tying, they actually had either most of the possession or equal possession, and they had similar shots on target and opportunities to score, but they just didn't put their chances away. Japan's head coach actually said that she wants their team to be attacking minded and that they just didn't do that in a lot of their games. And so I think that'll be something interesting to look for going forward, because I don't think they necessarily had a bad World Cup run. I think they just lacked presence in the final third. It's not that they didn't have opportunities, they just didn't put them away. And so I think that's something to look out for against this game when we play Japan, because they're going to be feisty, they want to score, and that's something that they want to prove going forward with their team. That's all I have to say for today. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what you think. I will be doing videos regarding the She Believes Cup, like the actual games, and I'll also be doing NWSL content as well. I was just waiting till trades ended because, Becky literally just got traded to Portland, and if I would have made a video about that, I would have had to make another one, if you know what I mean. So stay tuned for that. Alright, I'll see you guys later.